Hello, I'm Thuli Magubane, and welcome to the Success Rate, where we talk about people's journey to success. Our byline is there's no such thing as an overnight success, and can definitely attest. Our guest today has been around for a really long time, and maybe you only got to know about him once he was famous for his designs and everything else he's done, but there's definitely a backstory that he's about to share with us. Thula, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And as I say, success looks good on you, and I like the fact that you're on brand.
Thank you. No, this is one of our best sellers, so I always try to wear it.
Great. I must get myself one. Maybe do one that says Thuli.
Wow.
Dash, Thula.
Slash.
Yeah, slash with an I.
Got you.
And I'll say that one is personalized for me. So, Thula, to start us off, if you had to delete every app on your phone, save for three, to keep three, which three would you keep and why?
I would keep my GPS because I really need it. I'm not great with directions.
Yeah.
I'd keep WhatsApp. I really, really love chatting with my friends.
All right.
And what else? The calendar. That's how I did, because I never seem to know what day of the week it is. Because the way I've structured my life, since I first started, I call myself the gentleman of leisure because I've always wanted to have a lot of free time. So I don't kind of remember
Keep
things.
the 9 to 5, the Monday to Friday routine.
Those things don't matter to me. My life
like
has
that.
not been like that ever.
So your life is constantly like feeling like on holiday. You know, when and maybe you may not relate to this. For us people who keep to the 9 to 5s and Monday to Friday, when you're on holiday, there's a time where you lose track of days. And you're like, what day of the week is it? And then you're really in holiday mode.
That's my life. And that's actually my personality,
Yes.
and my life has been kind of like trying to fit my work around my personality, because I think a lot of people don't work towards their strength. And I've accepted myself early on. And I said, you know what, I will make my work fit with who I am.
I like that. So it's a fresh perspective. Because people try to just do work and they never think about themselves. They fit themselves into their work, whether it's suited for their personality or not is another thing. And so, how did you discover this about yourself? And we're very intentional about designing your life that way.
Well, I was born in Klerksdorp in 1983, so I'm from a small town, but
Yes.
I'm from a good family, nice people, very supportive. But I knew I had to get out of a small town because
Yes.
I've always kind of understood myself and what I wanted in life.
Okay.
So my journey has actually been quite linear. I know people like to talk a lot about ups and downs, but I've always been so clear about the kind of person I am, and especially my strengths. And my strengths have always been art. So I
always being the creative.
always. So I focused on fine art, and I moved to Joburg when I was 13 to be in boarding school at the National School of the Arts.
Just around the corner here.
Exactly, just in Braamfontein. And that place was such a beautiful playground for a young person, because you've got people who are in dance, who are in music, who are focusing on drama as well. And that's where you meet all these creatives that end up actually supporting your
Yes,
career
yeah.
going forward.
Yeah. And I could imagine that helped you to flourish.
Absolutely. When you're
Yes.
surrounded by other young people who are talented, because an art school is so different. When I look at movies about high school, I can't relate because there's not that angst
So you
and
guys
bullying.
didn't have yes, I was
Yeah,
about
we
to
didn't
ask
have
about
that.
bullies.
We didn't have that. The strangest thing is that once you're in an art school, no matter you're ugly, you're short, you're tall, you're thin, you are there because you're good at something.
Yes.
And whoever is not there is not good at something, because we all had to audition. So you know that you're already good at something. So you're already you're motivated and you've already been affirmed. So yes, there would be like minor squabbles, but there was seriously no bullying whatsoever. It was just we're competitive. I think that's what replaced the bullying is the competitiveness.
yeah.
Yes.
And did you explore other art forms besides fine art? Did you act? Did you sing? Did you dance?
Well, I dance to music. My best friend is Teresa Mahongwa, a wonderful dancer based in the Czech Republic. Dances for the National Ballet there.
Oh yes, I remember Teresa. Yes,
Amazing, talented people like Kitty Petla, Lona Maseko,
yes.
Pabi Moloi, who was a broadcaster. She was working. We'd literally be in history class and she has to go and work, at KTV, people like Tabang Moleya. So you see people who are in their teens
Yes.
working.
Yes.
And then you discover that, hey, I can use all of my talents to create stuff. So for me, art, I loved it, but I thought I could implement fashion as well, because that is something I'd learned early on. So that's how I actually kind of pivoted into fashion while still in high school.
All right. And did you study fashion formally?
I did. I went to Lysoff.
Lysoff. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, my journey is very linear. I always know what I have to do.
Okay.
And I'm very decisive. I'm
Yeah.
decisive with myself and I'm decisive with my business. I had to know that if I want to do this, yes, I can do it informally. I've learned how to do it, but I need to go to school. So immediately
Yes.
after I left matric, I went to Lysoff for 3 years to do a diploma in fashion.
Yes, yeah.
And it was a beautiful learning experience, because for my final year, I went to Cape Town, to Woolworths, to work with the W collection to do my internship there.
Yeah.
And that was such an eye-opener. You know, working with corporates, you understand this is the machine.
Yes.
This is how things go from idea to on the shop floor. And that was valuable.
And in season 1, we actually had Craig,
Craig.
as a guest, and he shares the story where you guys went off to Paris to go and showcase your designs there, organized by Gavin Raja, etc., etc. And you guys were very young.
Very young.
How
And
did that experience impact, or the rest of your career?
Well, my journey was not as cut and dry as the other designers. I had worked previously, I worked for a year at a company called Vlisco, a Dutch textile company.
Yes.
So I had introduced
That make the nice
Bogolan, Bogolo,
the
yes.
African print designs. Yes.
So I'd worked there for a year, and I'd consulted with them to actually also include other designers like Balisa Mukubung and Malcolm Cloak to create collections.
Yes.
Did phenomenally well. But as well, when you start something and it does so well that they want to kind of take control of it, then as a young person, because I was 21, 22 at that time,
Yes,
I was
yeah.
like, either these consultants leave or I leave.
They let
I
you
left.
leave.
Which was such
Yeah.
a shock to me.
Yeah.
So I actually went on the Paris trip in that gap time where I actually did not want to have my own business. But Gavin was like, Thula, you're brilliant. Put a collection together. Let's go to Paris.
Yes.
And a lot of people at that time were like, why is this one going? We don't know this one, And I used that energy to really kind of create the most beautiful collection I ever did.
Yeah.
And from then onwards, I just knew that what matters is what the customers love and what I love. And yeah.
And did you experience imposter syndrome? Because, you were young, as you said, and you hadn't really identified yourself as a designer. This is your first collection.
Please don't be shocked.
And you're going to Paris.
Please don't be shocked. I'm one person that I do not have imposter syndrome.
Oh, really? You can't relate to the concept.
I cannot relate. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of people find me to be, I'm very self-assured.
Yeah.
I understand my strengths, I understand my weaknesses. That's why I really work around them. Because they are what makes me. But I know that I'm actually quite good at what I do because I'm actually pragmatic in my thinking. And I knew the collection was going to be beautiful. I really knew because I know my technique. I've been doing this for a long time. Even before studying, I was making clothes in high school. I used to make clothes for the famous party girls of the city, actually. All the ones that you guys know who were partying in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I used to make clothes for them to go out to book Cafe Vogue, to Monaco, to all of those big clubs. So I knew my technique. I knew what I wanted to do. But no, I'm very self-assured. Sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. It's just a question.
Yeah,
Some
very.
people obviously have that. I mean, I guess for me, I think the only time I think I ever experienced that, I was studying overseas, doing a master's program, and it was an executive master. So there's some people who are quite senior.
Yes.
In their organizations, and the program was in Spain, in Madrid, and one of the gentlemen in our class, he was the head of UBS Bank in Spain, and he's my classmate.
You see, that's contextual.
So and you're like,
And you can be intimidated
I'm
at that point.
36.
And I'm in the same room with these people.
Yes.
But then you know how you got there.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
and I think for me, it's always been that thing. I understand also even the context of this country.
Yeah.
I understand that I would be a lot further along if this country was actually more
Open.
easier and open. And actually, it's we should all be further along. That's why I also talk a lot with young designers about not being so hard on themselves. Yes, don't be easy on yourself, but you must understand that the context in which we exist in this country, the barriers of entry are all against us, and they shouldn't be. And it's 30 years on, and they still are against us. So there are challenges that should not be there.
Yes, yeah.
And we have immense talent in this country. And that's why each time, every now and then, we are winning these LVMH prizes and we're winning this because South African designers are actually very good.
Yeah, very talented, yeah.
And also a pragmatic type of talent.
And I guess, and we also bring a different perspective
Absolutely.
to the designs as well.
Even our music, even our pop culture, because we are geographically so far from everyone else, but we have good kind of, I'd say, logistics and connection to the rest of the world, where we have to make up our own things, our own culture. So whether it has to be Gom or it has to be Mapiano or Bomera Makiabe, it's always just been like that, where we create our own subcultures that influence the rest of the world. For a small country, we punch well above our weight.
Well, hence we are the S in BRICS.
You know.
So what's your definition of success?
Success to me means doing things your own way. Okay. I've always been about enjoying my free time. And if I had it any other way, I would be traveling the world 24/7. But I love being able to work with young people, especially young creatives, having the freedom to do what I love to do, the freedom to explore different things. I'm into DIY now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Can't imagine you with the tool belt.
Bona, I do the whole shebang.
What's with Makaraba?
Bona, I am a DIY guy. And I'm 40 now, so there's different things that matter to me. I've been kind of exploring kind of a new way to be. And it's been quite interesting.
Yeah.
And
So what's your current project? Do you have a DIY project?
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm redoing my store in Sandton, the Africa Rise store in Sandton. Africa Rise is my multi-brand store where I stock African designers because, access to market is our biggest challenge in this country, on this continent, actually. And it hasn't been addressed effectively at all by government. And unfortunately, we've been misdirected a lot of times, like this thing about blockchain economy, which is complete nonsense because, it's a residential area. People are not buying dresses in residential areas.
Yeah.
Not even in Melville or in Melrose Arch. You know what I mean? People buy stuff in retail spaces, and black entrepreneurs should be in retail spaces, not being misdirected to try and hawk their wares in residential areas that have not even been invested into adequately. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day.
And how's your model different from like YDE?
Oh, extremely different.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're like, oh my God.
No, I choose the designers that I think are quite right for the store, and can be young designers, experienced designers. We've got designers from David Tlale to even the youngest designers who are just creating one beautiful item, and no one pays anything. The product sells itself, and we take a commission from the sold product. So it's really about focusing on product. So
you're not paying for the hanger space?
No, because that's like the feudal system. You have to pay up front before you've even made a sale, which means the product suffers because you must take out X amount before you can even invest in making a beautiful product. So we want a beautiful product because we are in the best location to sell beautiful product.
They by the escalators.
Bona. We are hop and skip away from those stores. Those stores.
Yes.
And the South African consumer is so sophisticated at this point in time that we just need to meet them halfway and be in those areas where they are spending money.
Yes, yeah. And do you find, being in the retail space, are people moving more onto online, or are we still pretty much wanting to walk in, touch and feel something, try it on before we buy?
People, especially South Africans, are really much about physical shopping. The online space helps for browsing, being able to, especially for things that you might find intimidating. It's easier to check on your phone. Oh, is this how much it is? And then they walk in, And funny enough, most of our online sales come from people who've already been to the physical store. Retail is like church, like religion. The shop is like the church. If you know there's a real church where this place exists, you can pray at home. So online is praying at home, doing your little home cell, But there's a physical structure where all of this is encased. So that's why we need to be in more physical spaces. But we need the help of government because the private sector really doesn't care much about
black I suppose the experience you can't take away from the physical experience, even if
it's touching, it's feeling.
But what about the avatars? People are saying you can create an avatar, and then you can try on things.
And technology will always be a tool. Technology is a tool to aid the human experience.
True, yeah.
The same way as a directions app is a tool to help you get to where you're going to, but you you are still there. You need to still drive those streets, go there. So technology is not a threat to us. You know, we need to integrate it. I mean, social media has been great to a point, you know, but I feel like for me, as a 40-year-old, social media has served its purpose. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I now kind of navigate my life the way I navigate my real life, where I don't mind being looked at. You know, I've always been looked at, but I don't interact with strangers in real life. So I don't interact with strangers anymore online either.
Yes.
But it's a tool. So avatars, AI, all of that is still a tool and won't replace people. And I think a lot of people in the IT space want to feel more important than they are. They're part of the ecosystem, but they want to be like, we are taking over. We no more libraries. We don't need libraries. We don't need coffee shops. We don't need. We need them more than ever, actually, because we are so disconnected. You know. That we need spaces to be together, spaces to even like this, to talk with people, to communicate with people.
Yeah,
so
because everyone is just, you know, because everyone is like, we spend so much of our time online. And we're so disconnected. And there's a book I read recently by Ariana Huffington called Thrive. And I mean, it was written, I think, in 2013. So it's not a new book, but just the importance of being able to disconnect and connect. You know, and I think it's still a challenge for me. I think one weekend I will do it where I'm like, I'm going to have a digital disconnect.
Okay, no, you'd need to, because I mean, like, for me, I love my hikes. I love gardening now. I used to really, really love gardening when I was growing up because my grandfather was into it. And then I kind of lost it, but now I'm back into gardening. And also using these things as a tool and not as a crutch and not as an amplification of one's ego, and just finding a proper space for it, because it's there to aid us in our ends.
True, yeah.
And I just feel bad for younger people who perhaps grow up absorbed in
this environment,
which is very challenging, but that's for you parents to kind of figure out how they can navigate that.
And turning 40, what was that like for you? Were you nervous? Were you looking forward to it? Did you notice a certain change in your lives? Take us through that.
Well, I'm 40 and 6 months right now.
Yeah.
So for me, it was exciting, you know, because I've always enjoyed my life fully, because I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm away most of the time.
Sober.
I am a sober person. So I'm in life. I'm doing life cold turkey.
Yeah.
So each decade comes with its own challenges. So the 30s were about really growing my business to a place where I can include other people as well in my growth. Because that's the thing. I'm not interested in being a gazillionaire. It doesn't interest me at all. And I know it strikes people so bizarre that a person doesn't want to be wealthy, because we live in a capitalist economy and you have so much potential. I just want to have enough to eat and live and help other people who maybe if they want to do more, they can do it.
Sure.
So 40 now is just about relaxing, truly relaxing, because I've been a gentleman of leisure in theory, you know, because I have to work throughout.
Yes.
But extending that to also my employees, because even in my retail store, they work for 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. Because why not?
Yeah.
Even my production staff work 4 days a week. Why can't every weekend be a long weekend?
Yes.
You know, we make the rules, especially as employers, especially as entrepreneurs. So many of us we just mimic what we've grown up with, and these things don't really matter. You know, so I've created my own reality, and being grateful enough and lucky enough, to include other people. Where I'm like, well, if you work here, you don't work on Fridays.
I'm sure you're going to be having a lot of inquiries after this interview. Thula, I'd like to come work for you.
You know.
Success is something that everybody aspires to. We talk about it and everyone wants to attain it. What is success? That's the question we try to answer on the success rate. If you want to hear more, make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course share, because we're trying to make this family bigger. So being in business, you know, you have your ups and downs and challenges. What has been the biggest challenge that you've encountered being in business?
Whoa.
Because obviously being a creative is one thing, but business is a whole other animal.
Absolutely. And I'm one person that I feel like I'm well balanced between the creative and the business. And that, of course, is upbringing. My paternal grandmother used to sell fruits and vegetables, and she'd include me in her trips. I thought she included me because she hates me. All my other cousins would stay behind playing, and I have to go with her, go marketing.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from her, you know. And the challenges in business, the only really huge challenge I've had, I think recently, and all of us, COVID was such a game changer. You know, it created so much business debt. It created so much change in habits as well from people. And for us as creatives, we had to really figure out what does the local market want? Because, you know, even as Africa Rise, half of our business was international. So that was cut off immediately. And then a part of our other business was like workwear. Now people are not going to the office. To understand that we have to kind of like, who are we? Who are we to the South African customer who's not traveling, who's not a tourist, who doesn't need to go to the office? So refinding our values, refinding how we can matter to other people, that has been a big challenge. And I mean, like, even now, I think we're in a global recession. No one wants to say it because it's an election year. No one wants to say the R word. But South Africa is in a terrible recession, you know. So, but luckily, being nimble enough to change leases, being nimble enough to change your business, because one needs to be able to adapt to move on with the times. And the times change so rapidly now.
And do people take you seriously as a businessman? Because they know you as a designer. You're Thula Sindi, fashion designer.
Well, it doesn't matter, because for me, I don't interact a lot with people. People I get so surprised. And that's why social media has got everything kind of flipped around, because I was very open, especially like on Twitter and Facebook. But I don't interact with strangers. No one interacts with me. So, and people who do interact with me know that I don't play. So, they do. And the things that this kind of business where it's not B2B, you know what I mean? It's B2C. It's me and the customer, and me and the customer are in a love affair. And that's what I'm trying to teach other, even younger creatives, to be like, build your customer base where you and the customer are in a relationship. Then it doesn't matter if some CEO or some landlord takes you seriously. They don't matter. If you've got the money, you can be in a space that you're required to be in. If you've got the customer supporting what you need, and that's the real thing, you know, identifying who you are and how you can add value to other people.
Okay, so super. So it's time for our Fire 5.
Hope
Fire
I can think
5
fast
question.
enough.
You can think fast enough. I'm sure you can. So just very interesting questions, trying to get to know you a little bit better. Nothing too hectic.
But I feel like I'm simple. I'm not an enigma. But let's go. Fire.
All right. Are you ready? Are you a coffee person or tea person?
Tea, rooibos tea all the way. The last time I drank coffee, I was like 14.
So you don't drink, no stimulants?
No. Like, I'm high on life, literally. My brain doesn't need any extra help. But rooibos tea, almost daily. Love it.
Yeah? Action flicks or rom-coms?
Rom-com. And those J-Lo rom-coms.
What's your favorite one?
Made in Manhattan. Yep.
With Miss Jenny on the block.
Yes. Love that movie.
Okay. And what's your most irrational fear?
Oh, my most irrational fear is, I think, like falling off a balcony. I always feel like there must be some structural engineer that didn't do something properly. And I want to be the first person that falls off a balcony.
You don't stand in balconies?
Not ones I don't trust. And it didn't help that in Cape Town there was a balcony that collapsed on Long Street, I think it was, or on those areas. And they always looked very rickety to me. You know, those ones like half wood, half planks. Yeah. That's
Okay. And then would you go for Gucci or Versace?
I'd go for Thula Sindi.
No, I have to choose one.
If I absolutely had to. I think Versace, I like the legacy of the brand. He is one of the most important designers, and I like what Donatella has done subsequent and they're very brash, outgoing, but they also have quite a legacy of like technology actually and innovation. So Versace, yeah.
Okay. And what is one thing that people would be surprised that you don't eat?
I don't eat pork, but I don't eat avos. Yes, because everyone's obsessed with avos. I can't stand them. I cannot stand them.
What's wrong with avos?
They taste revolting for starters. And for me, I think it's something allergic, because even when they're removed from a salad, if the utensil has touched that avo, I want to throw up. So it must be something a bit more serious than just not liking them. Yeah.
Interesting. For me, it's liver.
Ox liver? Even
form.
Bride.
Any form.
You're joking.
Chicken liver, ox
even
liver.
Even like those liver spreads?
Even the fancy, duck liver. No liver for me.
Is it maybe like that irony taste or?
From the time I was a kid.
Okay, yeah, no, then.
I've never liked it. I think I was one of those, if I believed in previous lives. I would say something happened to me.
It's a no-no.
Yeah, having to do with the liver before I died, and I came into this life wanting nothing to do with liver.
Okay. No, that means you've been quite self-determined for quite a while because, we grew up with liver and onions, kapapa.
I know. I mean, I think the last time I ate liver was probably maybe around 3 or 4. And my dad forced me to eat it. And as soon as I was done, I threw up. And my mom's like, "Aye, leave
That's not
her."
happening again. Okay.
And my sister always says if she ever suspected someone was imposter, she'll cook liver and serve it to them.
No, that's the evil clone.
And if they dig in, she'll know that's not my sister. So we also have, I guess everyone has these little weird things about them. And the fashion industry, what has been your biggest disappointment about the fashion industry, especially in South Africa?
I have to be very frank about
Yeah.
this. Oh my God. My biggest disappointment, honestly, is that we should be so much further along. There's certain people that joined the industry in the 2000s that I really thought would really change the landscape because,
Yes.
they really have the resources to do that. And it's really has not moved forward substantially as it should have because, in the early 2000s, people like Sun Goddess and Stone Cherry really laid the foundation. They're
True.
real pioneers. And but David came on the back of that and we've managed to do a lot, but I think with the proper resources, investing in South African designers, opening retail spaces for us, opening up banks and real funding, from government side, from private sector, this industry could have been very far because
Do you
we've got
think
the
the
skills.
financial services sector sees fashion as investment worthy?
It is growing. I've got a partnership with, I don't know if I can mention the Blue Bank.
You can just
Standard
call them
Bank.
the blue
Oh,
bag.
sorry, you can bleep that out. They were quite integral
Yeah.
in the opening of the Africa Rise store because I approached them and I said, you know what? I've got my own retail stores, Rosebank, Menlyn, but
Yes,
all
yeah.
of my peers and all the young designers, they are not in retail and we are more than adequate to be in retail when I
True.
look at what's in these malls. But to open up a store is prohibitive. They don't have to keep us out because we're black.
cost,
they just put the
yes.
cost up and then you can't move in. Then it's like, oh, sorry. So you need a partner to be like, hey, I've got your back. I'll cover the deposit. I'll cover this. I'll cover that.
Yeah.
Start and let's see. So Standard Bank was quite integral in that. We've actually did a show last November to celebrate that because it's been 4 years now of Africa
Yes,
Rise.
yeah.
And they were important in the starting out of the
So
store.
you guys started just as COVID was
Yes. Ooh.
visiting us.
Just before, yeah. We
Yeah.
opened about 7 months before.
Yes.
And this COVID was completely something unpredictable, unforeseeable. Because I'm one person, I really think about all the variables, what is absolutely possible. And this was, give force majeure in way that no one even saw coming,
True. Yes, yeah.
But we've managed to weather the storm, but we are still recovering. We're still in the recovery mode. It's like an earthquake. The aftershocks are the ones that collapse the buildings, so that's why you see a lot of businesses right now closing down.
Yes.
So
yeah, the after effects. Yes. Yeah.
So one has got to be really nimble in business and know what to shed off to keep the main business going. So, but the business should be the industry should be a lot further along if we had proper support from government, private sector, and even just the retail space as a whole.
And which individual was the most influential or impactful in your journey to success?
Oh, for me, it was definitely Gavin Raja. He hates that I mention that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but he did a lot. When somebody kind of says, you know what, I want to put you on a platform, I know that you're good.
Yes.
Some people don't, but this is your chance to show them you're good. And for me, that is all I needed. This was about 2007. And from then onwards, my business has just gone from strength to strength, where you just need one person to believe in you and put their reputation on the line. Because he was taking these 4 designers, the 3 are already, everyone knows who they are. And this random Thula Sindi guy who's only done one show and he works for like a Dutch fabric company that fired him. Who the hell is this? And he's going to embarrass us. But yeah, very impactful. And that's why I do his resort shows every December in Cape Town. He's an amazing person. He's also got a great life experience as well. And somebody whose kind of point of view I can value. There's very few people I listen to.
Yeah.
But another person I really like is Dr. Julie Dlamini. Her and her husband have been so integral in just being great people to know.
Yes.
And even when they created their school, Future Nation, I created the uniform for the school.
You designed the uniform.
I designed the uniform, manufactured it.
Amazing.
Yeah, but because I believe in their vision so much, and they are people that I really look up to when I talk about real heroes.
Yes. And which I'll make it celebrity. Which celebrity would you like to dress that you haven't dressed as yet?
Ooh, jeez, I'm so done with that part of my life. Because that's how it started.
Yes,
with
yeah.
dressing
Not
famous
even
people.
local, maybe international.
I honestly can't think of one. I'm so far away from celebrity culture, honestly speaking. It's got its none, honestly, because also, if you cannot manufacture what has been seen on a celebrity, you've wasted your time. You've actually opened yourself up to plagiarism.
Yeah.
Like if a dress of mine was to end up on Beyonce, if people really, really want that dress and I can't make it in those many numbers, somebody else will. So it's a giant loss for me. So yeah, it's it's the wrong time. At the beginning when I started my career, I dressed for Bonimbuli, for Penny Libiani. Those people really helped build my career and legitimize what I do.
Yes.
But the times were different. Right now, if you do that, you'd better have a machine behind you to make sure that to make do with that moment, or else Timu or whatever will make those things on your behalf.
And then what's the next chapter for Mr. Sindi? Because as you said, your life is linear.
Very
It's all
linear.
planned.
It's
So
all
what
planned.
lies in the next chapter?
A lot of relaxation. A lot of my business now works almost on its own.
I'm imagining you on an island somewhere with your iPad just to check the numbers.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Definitely not an island. I love cities. I love city living. I love the hustle or bustle of everyone else, not my hustle or bustle. I'm at the coffee shop, sipping my rooibos tea and having my croissant, watching the hustle and bustle. Traveling the world, learning new languages.
Yes.
And that's really what I want to do with my life, honestly. And I'm lucky enough to have started in a career that really supports my type of lifestyle and the kind of person that I am. I would have been a complete failure in anything else. People think, oh, you're such a success. I'm like, yeah, at this very particular thing.
Yes, yeah.
I would not even have worked in corporate. I would have been a complete failure and my life would be completely different. So I'm just very fortunate.
So what's your next destination?
Ooh, I want to go to Japan, but you've got such a small window to go there because the winter is harsh, so I think I might have missed the boat because now is the spring blossoms,
the cherry blossoms,
and which are coming in late, so I still might have 3 more weeks to go, but that's really kind of my bucket list destination. Everywhere else I've gone to about 43 countries on the continent alone.
Wow.
So which is the African continent, my favorite destination is just the whole continent itself. But yeah, Japan, definitely. Sometime this year, please.
And hopefully, at least while the weather is decent.
Yes, that's okay. I have maybe a good
couple of months,
couple of months, but
well,
9 weeks.
when does autumn start? It gets colder. Maybe you've got until October, maybe.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But again, also once the cherry blossoms are gone,
it's like what's there to see?
Yeah.
There's lots of culture.
I will do the whole island. Oh my god!
And
all the way
I forget the name of the restaurant, but there is a documentary I watched about an old Japanese guy that owns this sushi bar in a station, in a metro station, and it's a small.
those one man.
And it's a small restaurant. Sits probably 10 people maybe at a time, and it's booked out like months in advance because the sushi. I think it's called, if I'm not mistaken, Euro. Dream of Sushi or something, the name of the documentary. So it tells this story, how he started making sushi, and then follows him, how he goes to the market, chooses the fish. And because everyone knows him, they always save the best.
Of course.
For him, yes.
But strangely enough, you mentioned like small shops, but that's something so unique about Japan as well, how they're kind of like property market is so different that people can have small specialty stores which support almost these niche type of things. And I wish that for us, I get so heartbroken when I see places like the Orbit close and, South Africa, especially Johannesburg, is lacking all of those beautiful smaller places where people can either enjoy food or music or art. Not everything can be a fast food joint or people that can afford hundreds of thousands in rentals. We need to create space for culture. We need to create space for different experiences. So I'm hoping to see more of that. Oh, and I want to go into politics.
You want to go into politics?
Into
and
urban
you just
planning?
throw it in there.
No, that connects to kind of what I want to do. I really want to
next
change
chapter,
the city.
yes,
I'm really passionate about Johannesburg. I love Johannesburg. Johannesburg is my
Yes.
great love. I came to the city very young and made my dreams come true. And it's sad to see it in a bit of disarray.
Yeah.
And there's so many low-hanging fruits that I feel like could really be harvested.
Well, I guess that's another barrier that you have to break, because now people know you as a designer, businessman. So now you're going to become a politician.
It's maybe in some sort of governance structure. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, there's actors who've crossed over, there's
Yes.
musicians who've crossed over.
Yes.
I mean, like, everything just takes time.
True. Yeah.
And time is something I have in abundance.
As a man of leisure, of course.
And I think I've proven myself in my little space of the world, of what I'm capable of and how I do business and
Yes, yeah.
the kind of impact I can do. And I think that will just extend naturally to the next phase of life.
Super. And then parting shots about success.
Ooh, success, I think, figure out what you really want. I think a lot of people don't know what they really want. They want stuff because they think they must want it. And then
Yes.
they get frustrated when they don't get it or when they get it. So you need to be honest with yourself. What do you truly want? Like, I knew from the beginning that I want my own life, my own
Yes.
little house. And these are the small few things that I want to do. No matter what my earning potential is, my tastes have never changed. It would have been sad if I never reached kind of the point, then I would have been frustrated. But likely the point is really, really low. And I think most...
I like how you say it's really, really low.
in comparison to what other people want, Bentleys and helipads. I'm like, gosh, like, I've never needed so much in life. I think people just, at the core, find out what you truly, truly, truly want. And
Yeah.
it cannot all just be material. It can be maybe you want to help your parents. Maybe you want to
Yeah.
fix your hometown. Maybe you want to help other people. Maybe you want to have a small family and they can go into a family business. Just find out what you truly, truly, truly want, so success can feel authentic once it arrives. Because some people are always chasing something that keeps escaping them because it's not authentic to who they are.
Or what they think everyone thinks they should be chasing.
Absolutely.
Not really what they want.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thula. It was wonderful having you. Enjoyed having our conversation. And wishing you all the best in the next chapter and the next ventures. And hopefully maybe one day we'll see you on that ballot when we go to the polls.
I don't think I'd be the party leader. No, I think I want to be like in governance, in
Yeah.
departments, maybe even arts and culture.
You never
maybe
know.
in city planning,
You
that type of
never
stuff.
know.
Yeah.
You know.
But not on the ballot, no.
It will start off, I just want to serve. Next thing,
I wanna rule.
I will see you on the ballot. If you enjoyed our conversation with Thula, please make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course share. Let your friends and family know about the success rate. We're trying to grow the family. Make sure that you put your comments as well. What did you think about today's interview? And of course, your own definition of success.